Hey guys, Ottley here, and today we're going through how and where to hire your first developer as an AI agency owner. Now this is an extremely important and crucial step in the journey of any AI agency owner, because if you're not able to get this right and start to bring in external talent and expertise into your agency, then you are never going to be able to free up your time to focus on more important things like actually growing the business. So it's so important that you get this right, and this is the hurdle that many people never get over and stops people from going on to become successful with this business model long term. So I wanted to make this video really breaking down everything that I've learned over the past 14 months, and this is going to be probably one of the most important videos you watch this year if you're serious about this business model. So let's get into it. How and where to hire your first developer as an AI agency. Firstly, my expertise in this topic comes from hiring and firing over 15 developers for my own agency in the past 15 months, which is a bit of a weird flex, I know, but it shows the kind of turnover that you can see if you're very picky about the kind of talent that you let in. And I've learned a lot from going through 15 developers. So key takeaways from this video for you is firstly going to be determining what developer you need for your agency to succeed this year. Secondly, understanding what makes AAA developers different from regular developers. Thirdly, knowing the easiest way to find AAA developers for your business. And finally, knowing how much to pay your developers so you don't get ripped off. So very important things. We're going to get to all of these by the end of the video. And here's DJ Khaled with the major key. If you are new to the channel and don't know who I am, my name is Ottley. I'm the creator of the AAA or AI automation agency model. I'm the founder of my own agency, Morningside AI. I've generated over 7 figures with my AI businesses over the past 15 months, around the largest community of AAA owners in the world. And I've hired all of my friends and live an awesome life, all thanks to AI. Just a little bit of transparency about why I make these videos as well. I know there's a lot of skeptics out there now, so this is it on screen. I have software products that I make for AAA owners and my community. And if you become a successful AAA owner, then you'll become a user of my software. And eventually, if I do things right, I can sell my software. So without you winning and succeeding with your own agency, you will never use my software and I will never reach my end goal. So we're kind of aligned on this. So let's do it. So the first thing we need to ask ourselves is, why are we hiring? What's the point of this in the first place? And this comes down to a few key things. So finding and hiring the right developer is a crucial step in your journey as a AAA owner. Failure to do this and hire correctly and bring expertise into the business so that you can work on more important things is the killer of many aspiring AAA owners. They all try to get going, they're doing it themselves, and they never find the right person or understand how to hire in the right way, so they never advance past that where you can actually start to free things up and scale the business more. And the key thing here is that delivering high quality services is hard in the AI space. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You need to have a capable team and capable expertise within your organization to deliver quality services, because there's so many people trying to start this right now, but the number of high quality service providers who can give a great experience for their customers and create value is limited, and that's limited to the people who've been able to successfully hire and delegate it off to capable teams as well. And full transparency, this is what completely changed my agency from us struggling initially. It was bringing in the right talent. We had some really poor talent initially, and when we hired the right people, it just completely opened things up for us. I could suddenly work on building my personal brand further so that we could get more leads, and it really just set ourselves up for success as we have had over the past 12 months. On the right here are some examples of people winning within my program, and if you're doing these $20,000 projects, you have to have some kind of talent to deliver this stuff for you so that you can focus on more important things. So if you want to get to these levels, you need to get this first hire correct. Which brings me to the AAA model itself and the opportunity that this entire thing sits on, and your role and my role as AAA owners. And the first thing you need to understand is that there are a lot of developers rushing to this promised AI land with all the money so that they can cash in on their share, as we are trying to cash in on our share. They're trying to cash in on their share by running and upskilling to this promised land, right? But of these people that are rushing into the space as developers, very few of them actually have the skills and knowledge to create value in the business with their skills and use this technology to actually solve a real problem and create value, which is where your job as an AI agency owner comes in. And that's to identify opportunities for value creation with AI and deploy the team and the resources required to deliver it. Kind of like a general in the army, you survey the situation and then you deploy the resources or troops to solve that particular problem. So you are the brain and they are the sword, and this is where you create value as the AI automation agency owner. So the first thing you need to understand when you are hiring developers is there's a whole lot of different types of developers. It's not just one, and so you need to understand where you're targeting your hiring efforts so that you can get what you need to grow your business. So there's front-end developers, back-end, full stack, DevOps. There's a lot of different types, as you can see in this diagram here. So we need to know what we're looking for in particular so that we can actually grow our business. So I've got this little diagram here of these engineerospheres, or the spheres of engineering, different areas basically. And we've got no-code developers, which have their own little thing going, and they have had for the past while, using things like Zapier and Make, Airtable, Bubble, etc. And then we have the more traditional AI ML developers who are traditional software engineers that know how to use Python. They've used things like PyTorch or TensorFlow, and more recently they'd be using things like LangChain to build LLM-based apps with Python. But what we're looking for really is the sweet spot of AAA developers or AI automation agency developers that combine both of these worlds, both the no-code, low-codey stuff and the traditional AI ML expertise. And that's where we get this middle area here. So using platforms like VoiceFlow, which is our go-to chatbot builder, Relevance AI, which is great for building AI tools, and particularly connecting them to your GPTs and AI agents. And then platforms like my own, Agentive, which allows you to build ChatGPT-like experiences for your clients. And then some expertise in how to use language models, prompt engineering, and things like this. So there's a sweet spot where these two worlds overlap, and that's ideally where we want to be hiring. Not only are there different spheres of engineering though, there's also levels to the game, and there's levels of software engineers going from entry level to senior. So you've got a bunch of different factors when you're thinking of hiring, which you need to understand before you go in and start offering money for these positions. So with these things in mind, what are we actually looking for in our first hire? So going back to the question of why are we hiring in the first place, we're either hiring for a lack of technical expertise that we are missing, and you need help to be able to plan and deliver the solutions. Because without this expertise, there's no knowledge gap within your agency between you and the person that you're trying to help, right? You need some kind of expertise, and you're making money by bridging that knowledge gap for them and delivering solutions that they wouldn't be able to do themselves. So you may need some technical expertise in the business, or it may just be a lack of time where you need to delegate project delivery to allow you to focus on growing the business, e.g. by making content like I do on YouTube, taking sales calls, etc. So it's either one of these two problems. And based on your situation, whether it's a lack of technical expertise or just a lack of time, that determines whether you're trying to hire a senior developer or a junior developer. So seniors are able to lead a team. They're able to lead and manage communications with your clients. They're able to architect and plan solutions. They're able to innovate and lead product improvement. They're able to solve problems when they occur. And finally, they're also able to just be used to build and deliver the projects that you say you're going to do. And senior developers like this are contrasted against junior developers, which are basically just good for building and delivering projects or updating clients on what's happening. So they can't really lead communications. You wouldn't want them hopping on calls one-on-one with the client and sorting them out there. That's where the senior guys come in, and they have to be able to manage a team, lead the project, etc. And you can really hand things off to them. So to illustrate when you did one or the other, we've got some scenarios here. So scenario one is a technical AAA founder. Say you've got some background in software engineering yourself. That means you're comfortable in planning the solutions and leading the development. So you act as a senior developer, but you hire one or two juniors below you that you can kind of delegate to and rotate them as they're available. So you can delegate the actual delivery of it and manage the client communication yourself. In this case, you are serving as the CTO or the lead developer of the organization. And this is quite common for the people who are tech professionals who join my program, my accelerator. And they come in and they say, hey, I have the capabilities and the expertise to be able to lead the team myself. And that allows you to run a little bit leaner because, as you'll see in a little bit, the pricing of developers, of course, juniors are going to be cheaper. So if you do have the skills and you want to start an agency like this, you can serve as the lead developer or the CTO and just hire some juniors underneath you. And a good example of this is Mark, a member from my community. And I've actually got a podcast here with him on my channel. If you haven't watched it already, I'll leave that link down below. But Mark is a software engineer by trade. He came into the program and he's now done over $50,000 with his AI business, but he's serving as the lead developer and he has a team of juniors underneath him. So that's one way of doing it. But secondly, if you're a non-technical AAA founder, and some of you, I know you're coming into this opportunity and you don't have a software background, which is completely fine, but it's a little bit different to how you would approach it as someone with that background. In this case, you'd have a non-technical founder who understands the problems that the clients are facing, but lacks the depth of knowledge required to actually plan how you're going to deliver that. So in this case, you would hire one senior AAA developer, and then the owner can work alongside the dev and the client to make sure that the expectations are aligned, and then they can delegate the delivery and communication to that senior developer. Because as we said, these seniors can actually lead and manage the communication with the clients and also deliver the products themselves. So in this case, you hop on sales calls with the client, you bring them in, you connect them with your developer, you make sure that everything's all good, and then you allow them to manage the delivery of those services. And this gives you more time to bring more business into the business. And a great example of this in action is my co-founder, Josh, at Morningside. He came in completely clueless when it came to software and building AI solutions. It was just completely foreign to him. But in the space of about 2 months of being on sales calls with me, he was able to learn, okay, these are the questions you've asked, this is the kind of solutions that we offer, okay. And then I was able to fully hand off sales to him. And then he's able to get on these, hop on a course with our developers, connect them up, and do the process that I've just gone through here. So it is possible. And Josh, to this day, still does not know how to code, but he leads all of our sales and all of our operations at Morningside. So it is definitely possible, and don't let your self-limiting beliefs stop you from achieving something like myself and Josh have. Your next question might be, okay, how much does this cost for a senior developer or a junior developer? I know what I need now, but how much am I on the line for here? So there's 3 tiers of AI talent that we've seen and we've hired at Morningside. And let me just tell you right now that you don't want to be dealing with the low tier talent there. So just take that off the menu completely. If they're less than $30, they're likely low tier talent and not something that you want to get involved with. I mean, at your own risk. You can ignore me if you want, but this is from my experience that you don't want to be touching anything. You get what you pay for if you're good on the vetting side. And these tiers of talent translate nicely into these price brackets for senior and junior developers. So the senior developers, they're likely going to be $70 to $100 per hour. Ideally, they've got some kind of traditional development background because they are going to be leading the team, and you are trying to bring in, if you're going to be buying and bringing in expertise, you don't just want to bring in a sliver of, hey, he can build chatbots on VoiceFlow. You kind of want to get the whole picture because you probably don't, as the agency owner, have much expertise. So you want them to complement you, cover off the areas that you're not familiar with, and understand what production applications look like, not just gimmicky little chatbots and stuff like you probably can do yourself. There's a big difference between tinkering around with a prototype and a production grade solution. So these guys that you bring in as a senior need to cover off that area for you within the business. So a traditional developer turned AI solution specialist, where they understand VoiceFlow, Agentive, all these different platforms, relevance, make, etc. Ideally, you can get that hybrid. You're not always going to be able to find it, but the hybrid senior developer who could do both sides of that is really what you're looking for. And ideally, 5 years of experience in a development role. And then you have the juniors, and we split these up into two categories really. Guys who can do the only AAA related services, so whether that's VoiceFlow, relevance, etc. Only the low code, no codey stuff. They're only worth about $30 to $40 an hour from our testing. But if they have the traditional background and they're able to combine it with the AAA solutions that we typically sell, and they understand everything that I talk about here on the channel, then they're worth more, like $50 to $70 per hour. And the reason for this is that if a developer can also leverage these no-code, low-code tools at the right time, you can deliver services with far less time invested. So for example, if you wanted to build a web chat widget chatbot and put it on a customer's website, and you tried to do that all custom, it would take a ton of time and cost you a lot more than if you had a guy who knew how to use these AAA platforms that we talk about so often here on the channel, and was able to just go, okay, I can put this on VoiceFlow, I can build this out in a couple of hours. You're actually getting more value out of them because they're able to deliver the same thing for less and less time. So you're paying $50 to $70 per hour. If they're able to, at the right time, use low-code and no-code tools combined with their traditional background, you're getting more bang for your buck, hence them being more expensive. And these guys here, the juniors who have traditional and AAA experience and knowledge, they're essentially a baby version of the senior, right? They're just missing the managerial capabilities and the ability to actually plan these solutions. So these guys are highly valuable and can be trained up, as you'll see just here. You can turn your junior developers into senior over time. So they are the talent that you're looking to develop, and this requires zooming out a lot more in your agency and not seeing them as a static part of your business, but seeing talent as a major part of how you're going to grow over time, and picking the right things and planting seeds and watching them grow over time is really important. So when it comes to your senior developers, you need the strong technical skills, of course, the 5 years of experience, deep understanding of traditional code, and also ideally some of the newer stuff that we talk about on this channel. Interpersonal skills, being able to talk to your clients, being able to deal with the team, being able to communicate with you about what the hell's going on in the business, which is so key, and the ability to mentor and coach your juniors, which is really important. And for juniors, you just want to pick rock stars that are just starting off, they natural aptitude towards the stuff that you're building, potential, and the ability to learn as well. So juniors, they're not, by definition, they're not garbage or not useful. They're just people who are earlier in their journey, and you can, with the right training and with the right senior developer, can really bring them up into a super high valuable part of the organization. And just quickly, I want to introduce a few considerations when you are hiring, and that's the type of agency that you're running will determine the type of developer that you need to hire. So whether you're doing a niche or general agency, which I've got a video coming on, so if you haven't already subscribed to the channel and don't understand the difference between niche and general agencies, make sure you subscribe down below, because there's a big difference, and picking the right type is so key to your success in the space. So basically, are you building from scratch every time, or are you using templated solutions? So if you're a general agency, you're likely going to be doing custom every time. And if you're a niche agency, you're likely going to be replacing or copy and pasting across multiple clients a considerable amount of the build. And that determines the level or skill level of developers that you need. As you'll see in a second, reusability is a key concept that you need to understand. And secondly, are you just selling low code or no code solutions? Or are you also throwing in some custom coded aspect to it as well? So do they need that traditional background? And these are things you need to keep in mind. Reusability, as I said, planning and building from scratch is difficult and prone to more errors. But the fact that you can copy and paste across clients if you're running a niche agency allows you to minimize the amount of brain power required to think. Like actually planning and architecting a solution is difficult to do every single time something new comes in the door. Smart developers can handle these errors. That's why you hire the senior, because they can solve. But if they're just modifying from a template and you're a niche agency, then lower tier developers will do and will suffice in most cases, because they're not having to rethink or reinvent the wheel every time they do a new project. Therefore, you don't need as expensive or as intelligent or skilled developers. Now, the key question, you know what kind of developer you need, you know what level you're looking for, you know what's missing in your business. Where the hell do you find them? Which is a question that I get a lot. And I just want to remind you quickly of these engineerospheres, where we've got no-code developers, these traditional guys on the right, and then the AAA developers, which are kind of this hybrid in between, where they've been watching my content, introduced to the concept of this AI automation agency model as a whole, and they understand, okay, chatbots and automations, okay, tools, etc. This is the kind of stuff that we're delivering on, and these are the tools that and platforms that we use to deliver them. So you need to find people who fall into this AAA developer category, so that you don't have to bring them up to speed on all of this information about this is the model that I'm running, these are the tools that we use, these are the kind of things we sell. You need to find them ideally where they already understand that and they've already built with the tools that we need to build with. And the best place to find these AAA developers is in my free school community. Not to just a shameless plug here, but we do have nearly 15,000 people who have watched my videos, understand this, and a huge portion of the community members in here are developers and do have a development background. I've heard of people hiring ex-postman, head of engineering, and now they have an incredible partner within their agency. There is incredible talent that floats through and watches my videos and floats through my community, looking for people and looking for opportunities. There's so many people coming out of big tech at the moment who are looking to get into this AI space, and the AI agency model is such a good thing for people to get into, because if you're a developer, you can come in and give value and maybe partner on the agency. If you're a sales guy, you're an entrepreneur, you can come in and lead the agency and identify problems to solve with AI. It's so exciting for so many people, which is why we have so many people coming through. And link to join it in the description, but you want to come in here and make a post and say, I am this, here's my background, I am hiring for this is what I'm looking for. Either, hey, I'm looking for a partner, or I'm just looking for an hourly basis at the moment, I have some clients. You do need to sell yourself and pitch yourself within the community. So we have a bunch of hiring going on in the community already. You can see every one of these posts is getting like 5 to 10 different responses on it. So I urge you guys, if you're looking to hire, join the free community. It's down below, first link in the description. Make a post, pitch yourself, say this is what my agency is, this is what we're doing, and be really, and you do need to sell yourself in order to attract the best talent. So get in there, drop a post, and also if you're a developer watching this, get in there and start replying. Engage in the community, and there's so much value to be created by connecting the right people together. And that's what I want for most of you, is that if you can't get this right, if you can't find someone to hire, or you can't pair up a sales guy, an ops guy, and a developer, then you're likely never going to succeed long-term with this business, because it's so crucial. It's something that I've found and I've seen time and time again with people in my free and paid communities. So once you've gone into my school and posted, hey, I'm looking for a junior developer who knows this, familiar with these tools, we're looking to sell these, etc. Then you need to know how to sign them, what deal to actually close these guys on, but what contract are you bringing them into your business on? How are you going to be interacting with them? What's the compensation structure? Which is a really big question I get as well. So the contract progression that I recommend and that we've used at Morningside is starting off with a fixed contract. I mean, we don't do it anymore, but when we very first started our agency, we were doing it on a fixed contract where we'd go to have conversations with a bunch of developers and AI specialists at the time who really weren't much specialists at all. But would go to them and say, hey, we have a client here who needs XYZ services. Can you give us a proposal on how much time this would take and how much it would cost you? Would get proposals back from our different developers, mark it up 2 or 3x, go to our client and say, hey, this is the price of the build. Very easy way to get started. You're not necessarily putting cash up front, because the client's then going to pay that invoice or pay half the invoice, and you can pass it to the developer. So as long as you've got a margin there, you can basically never lose money as long as the project goes through without issue. And then after that, if they've shown that they're good and they know what they're doing, you can move them onto an hourly contract and give them a starting wage. Say, hey, look, we agree on $30, $40 per hour. We're going to do a 30-day free trial. So you can basically cut them off at any point. I mean, you can put in the contract that you can end it at any point. So this trial period will allow you to test them further. And what you want to do is put Time Doctor. It's a time tracking thing that monitors their screen. And then you can see how many hours they're logging and pay them based on those hours. Now, if all things go well, and after that 30-day contract, everything checks out and they've delivered good services for you on behalf of your agency, then you can start looking at a full-time contract. And you could lock in a salary, so you're getting $3,000, $4,000 a month, and expected hours associated with that contract. Full-time contracts are, of course, a big jump, and spending $4,000 a month every single month to have someone on might seem daunting, but it is really key in a number of ways. One, them working full-time for you is going to make sure that all of their focus is on your projects, and you can put in the contract, you are not allowed to work on other things. And you will find if you're working on Upwork or even people within my community, if they're juggling multiple projects at once, they're going to be giving you a fraction of the energy and time that it is required to really deliver what you need to deliver and meet that standard that your clients are expecting. So full-time contract, you get their sole focus. And also, if you do it right, you can make your agency far more profitable by using salaried employees rather than hourly based one. So full-time contract is ideally where you want to get to once you have a consistent flow of leads as well that are going to make sure that you will always have the money to pay them. That's what we run at Morningside for basically all of our developers, unless we're trialing them. And finally, you can offer a partnership. This is something that might be a bit more lucrative if you are making those school posts and putting yourself out there and saying, hey, look, I have a bunch of leads, or I have connections in XY industry. I'm looking for a technical partner to do this. You may need to go the partnership route and offer some kind of revenue share on all of the projects you do. So, okay, you're going to get 30% of all the revenue for the projects, and this will attract far better talent because they're going to be more incentivized. They're actually tied to the earnings rather than just being paid a wage or paid a salary, right? So that's contract progression, and that's about it. So key takeaways for this video. As I promised in the intro, you have determined what developer you need for your agency to succeed. It's a AAA developer, whether it's a junior or senior, depending on your situation. You now understand what makes AAA developers different, and that is the platforms that we use to deliver our specific solutions, and that kind of crossover between the two worlds of no-code and traditional AI development. Thirdly, you know how much to pay your developers and those different price ranges, whether you need junior or senior, etc. And finally, you know the easiest way to find a AAA developer for your agency, because you just need that one person to get things off the ground. Really, guys, it's so important to get that first hire, and it's one of the biggest steps for you in succeeding with this long term. So go on my school community if you're not already, make a post, network, show up to my calls. It's another great way to do it. I host a live Q&A every week on Friday within my free community, so you can hop on there, have a chat with me, and if there's an opportunity for partnership, you can put your email or your contact details in the chat, and so many people have been connected by that way because there's 100 people watching. Chances are there's someone who can help you or is interested in partnering with you. So a great way to find good talent is to hop on those calls and participate in the discussion. So that's all for the video. Please hit down below and leave a like if you've enjoyed, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this, teaching you how to start and scale your own AI agency. Links in the description are going to be firstly my school, secondly my agency Morningside AI if you want to work with me and my team, and finally my AI agency accelerator. You can learn more about how we guarantee 5 clients for you when you start an agency with us. So that's all down there. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out a recent video from me, that'll be up here. I highly recommend you watch that. But aside from that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.